Oh God, dating is a freaking disaster. It's not a place you actually want to be in your 50s. They all go for the younger women. So my dating puddle, even though I think I'm pretty smart and I'm not bad looking and I am as invisible to, I'd say 70% of the men.
So it goes to show when women get older, it's their dating pool decreases. Time is on our side as men, and time is not on women's side.
Independent modern women, the real prize, the juice that's worth the squeeze, the trophy, the champions of liberation. They're all around us, telling us, screaming about how they're independent, how they don't need no man, and how they believe any man would be lucky to have them, if they choose him or let him near them. How delusional they are, we all know. We all know how these modern independent women wasted their prime, and how they're past the wall, only to realize that men aren't lining up for them anymore. People have known for centuries that women should marry young while they have beauty to offer, and men need to be old enough to have the resources that women want. However, this concept is just not clear to modern women. Most women can easily attract the attention of men of any age when they are in their 20s, but beyond the age of 30 to 35, when their appearance starts to deteriorate, the attention of teenagers, 20-somethings, and even men of their own age start to fade as the men start to focus on younger women instead. Many women believe that the men in their age groups don't treat them fairly. Women who are 35 years old question why guys their age don't want to date and marry them. The truth of the matter is that a 35-year-old man with a job, money, and a car can entice younger, more attractive women in their 20s. Most men need a year or two to get to know a woman before becoming engaged and then getting married. As a result, if a guy marries a 35-year-old woman after going through this process, she won't give birth until she's 38, which will significantly reduce her odds of having children. A woman in her early to mid-30s must begin considering men in their late 30s, 40s, and perhaps even 50s as potential suitors. Many of these older men are now the only ones left on the market because they have already had children and marriages. If these men are divorced, they likely already have children, and they might want a second wife. Some of the mid-30s women I know don't seem to want to accept this. They claim that only older men are looking at them, and they find it repulsive. These same ladies spent their 20s hopping from one fling to another, and now they're confused about what happened. They didn't anticipate finding themselves in this situation, and things weren't supposed to turn out this way. Many of them find it shocking that men select women rather than women selecting men. It's challenging for women to accept that they aren't being pursued in the same way they once were, since the natural order of relationships has been turned in favor of males. Only a small percentage of guys who have been physically burned by women have an understanding of the plight of women in their 30s and are now the men they choose to date instead of the entire male side of the human race. It's even worse for women who have an obsession with having babies. They don't care how they can get one because they want a child so desperately. They will sleep around unprotected and claim to be taking the pill when they are not. So, the mental and physical ground beneath a woman's feet begins to change as she approaches her early 30s. The majority of women are not ready for the wall. A woman often experiences this while she is in her early to mid-30s. Many women in their early 30s have over 2 decades of reliable experience attracting men's attention. These are men as young as in their early 20s and as old as their 50s and 60s. Modern women who chose a profession in school over getting married are obnoxious, intolerable, and poor dating candidates since they are so predictable with their phrases. They've been given the myth that they can climb the corporate ladders in their 20s, have a successful profession, have several guys hit on them, and finally settle down in their mid-30s, despite the fact that they believe that this helps them have respectable savings and know themselves better. The unadulterated truth is very different. Women generally fail to understand that the market determines their value, not their own self-perception. These older women mostly all perceive themselves to be far more valuable than the market dictates, which is why they get so frustrated and lash out against men, whom they blame for this. For a woman, her value is the highest when she first enters the market, and it slowly declines in her 20s, before dropping dramatically in her 30s. It's generally the opposite for men, where their value is highest in their 30s after establishing themselves in the workforce and making a good salary. Why are older women struggling to find good men to date? I know why. They're just so full of themselves. You see them all, I'm the whole package, I'm attractive, I'm independent. Yes, but are you really love? Are you fun? Are you able to be lovable? Or are you unnecessarily argumentative and a boss babe? Can you love a man for the person he is, or are you only checking off a list of superficial requirements? There are made-up standards, and then there are real standards. Be realistic and stop that entitled attitude. Nobody is required to worship you for simply existing. Are you even a great partner yourself? These are some of the questions older women need to ask themselves before they enter the dating market after hitting the wall. The hilarious truth is that during their teens and 20s, they allow Chad and Tyrone to get the goods without any investment as they bounce from bad choice after bad choice in the name of fun till they get to their 30s and they suddenly have standards and expectations for the sucker, whom they expect to pay full price for the product now full of bad judgment and trauma. Meanwhile, Chad and Tyrone got it for free. Modern women, on the other hand, are so self-absorbed and naive that they will blow up the family, ruin the inheritance, and run with the money because they are driven to make bad choices for everyone. The Bible claims that the desire for material prosperity is the source of all evil. Future generations of women will show this by divorcing for no other reason than their own satisfaction on a regular basis. Women and family members are the weakest links since they may be wolves in sheep's clothing. The wealthy will always succeed in their endeavors. It is terrible that most of us have already reached this point or will never be able to attain elite status as a result of a woman's unwillingness to commit to a relationship. As a result of industrialization, many young people are leaving the agricultural workforce. Unprecedented levels of urbanization have occurred in rural areas, and there has been an internal movement of people from the countryside to the metropolitan urban cities that are sprawled across the large country, according to the latest statistical records. When we talk about dating older women who might have made bad choices in their lives or through their own will, now find themselves in a position where they're successful and have all the money they want, but have missed out on the chance of starting a family and raising kids, I think such women will find it increasingly difficult to attract men, and even if they do attract men, they're going to have a very tough time managing and keeping that relationship intact. Realistically, most men would not date older women if they could objectively evaluate them, determine their genuine value, and realize they're getting a bad deal. This explains why men are so often restrained by, and prevented from thinking properly by shame. The truth is that older women have a lot more baggage that they haven't dealt with. It's almost like every single thing that has happened in their lives, they put it in a sturdy burlap bag that they throw over their shoulders and carry around like it's a badge of honor. This is the reality. Cold and simple. Women have always survived with the help of men. This has been proven throughout human history, where women have managed to live without taking part in most wars or performing the majority of the taxing chores necessary to establish this civilization. However, despite all the crap for which men had to die, women eventually outnumbered men in the world. You are probably aware that women cannot survive for very long without men, and if it weren't for us standing up for them, they would have long ago disappeared. Many women believe that males in their own age group don't treat them fairly. Women who are 35 years old question why guys their age don't want to date and marry them. The truth of the matter is that a 35-year-old man with a job, money, and a car can entice younger, more attractive women in their 20s. Most guys need a year or two to get to know a lady before becoming engaged and then getting married. Therefore, if a guy marries a 35-year-old lady after going through this process, she will be 38 by then. Her chances of becoming pregnant will have significantly decreased by that time. So, when men aren't lining up for modern women anymore, I think they need to take the hint and realize they might be a little too independent and may need to have someone to depend on before they're too old to do anything about it. Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support, so please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything all kings like yourself need to know.